Every Baki character is insanely strong, but who are the physically strongest Baki characters in the series so far? You say it's obvious, of course Yujiro, his father Yuichiro, Baki, Oliva, Jack, Nomi, Pickle and Hanayama. Every one of them is famous for their insane physical strength. And some of them are using only their power with no actual martial arts knowledge in fights. But I don't want to count the Hanma trio cause they had a plot advantage on their side. Of course, Jack had no advantage as the weakest Hanma and the guy who is not so Hanma as Baki or Yujiro. But I think he will be one of the S tier characters soon along with Baki and Yujiro. So if it will be something like a top, I would say that Yujiro and Yuichiro will be on the top, Baki right after them. Probably Nomi no Sukune's second will be next. He was able to fully crush coal into diamond, meaning his grip strength alone is equal to 100,000 atmospheres or 100 tons of pressure. His greatest feat of strength is demonstrated when he faced Biscuit Oliva and through his sheer grip strength alone grabbed him by the ribs and broke all of them just by pulling them upwards, completely bypassing Oliva's formidable musculature with minimal effort. So right after Nomi, I would say will be Pickle. Pickle's muscles are so developed and strong that he withstands 3 9mm shots to the stomach at the point blank range. He is one of the most blatantly superhuman characters in the entire manga. His Herculean strength has also been shown in various occasions, being capable of withstanding a strength test with Yujiro Hanma himself, resisting a charge from Kawaru Hanayama, sending Baki Hanma flying through the Karakoan arena with a single kick, chopping a leg from Kairetsu after beating him, defeating Jack Hanma 2 times with only a few punches and breaking all of his teeth including his jaw too, jumping from a wall to wall at imperceptible speeds in the same fight, and pulling a giant crocodile the size of a small dinosaur through a sewer tunnel despite it supposedly was not big enough to contain that crocodile, which would require the strength of a bulldozer. But even taking into account all those facts, I think he is weaker in his pure physical strength than all guys that are above him. Hanmas are on another level and Nomi destroyed Iron Oliva, so I could not place him lower than Pickle. Here comes Biscuit Oliva. Oliva is a gigantic man with such musculature as to look overweight when wearing a suit. His muscles are dense enough to repel close-range shotgun blasts and thrust from a katana even before tightening them. Even Sikorsky's barrage of sharp knuckle strikes fails to cut his chest. He boasts the only training he needs is to keep his muscle in check all day, with his usual training routine consisting of pulling a helicopter down to the ground with nothing but his bare hands. He relies primarily on the strength and durability granted by his massive muscles, which is demonstrated when he managed to overpower a group of Olympic-level judokas with minimal effort, as well as when he easily broke the spine of Kayo, who bragged that his body was as strong as diamonds with one move. During the fight between Baki and Pickle, it was speculated that due to Oliva's size, strength and fighting style, he would go a frontal attack against Pickle if the two ever fought. It was also stated that this would be a fellowship of two warriors with the same beliefs. Yet he lost a sparring, meaning they traded blow for blow using nothing but power and weight to match with Baki and got destroyed by Nomi no Sukune's second. So I think he will be right here right after Pickle. Next will be my boy Jack Hanma. His strength is shown many times in the story. He killed a polar bear with his bare fist in the same way his father did, he defeated Sikorsky with a punch so strong that he lifted the telephone box they were in, and later withstood Sikorsky's knuckle slash in the underground arena, taking many blows from Muhammad Ali Jr. and defeating him, cutting a list on in the process, fighting Pickle despite the strength difference and making him run away in fear. But I think he is no match to other guys above him in his physical strength. If it was a biting competition, Jack would easily win. Finally, Kawaru Hanayama, a guy who was scared by everyone for his physical strength all the first season. He was just a 15-year-old kid but with the body of a rock. During a strength test with Pickle, Hanayama's strength was compared to that of a Triceratops, a dinosaur that can weigh between 6–12 tons. Hanayama also fought a great white shark with his bare hands whilst underwater, and he managed to kill the animal by crushing its brain. His physical strength is great enough that he is the first human that Pickle recognized as a rival instead of food. But in my opinion, this is his place on the list. Below Hanayama will be Spec, a guy who lost to Hanayama in a fight but showed himself as a character who is pretty strong physically. Spec's physical capabilities are far into the tier of a superhuman. Spec, despite being the oldest prisoner, was implied to be the physically strongest of the convicts, being able to easily break his way through prison walls and cell bars in only a few seconds. He was shown to endure the physical attacks of Japan's Special Elite Force Brigade, as well as their flashball projectiles, which has a force equivalent to a professional baseball player hitting a ball from 2 meters away without even flinching. He was able to critically damage the Statue of Liberty with his pure fists. Of course, he is no match to guys above him, but I think he deserves to be mentioned. But who is the guy who could punch even harder than those guys? A guy who is not so strong physically, but could slam them to the ground using his body strength and a bit of 100 years of hard training. It is great but small, old but gold, weak but strong at the same time, Kaku Kayo. Using his Shaori, which produces hypostasia, which allows Kaku Kayo to absorb the whole body weight of his attacker, he can absorb, contain and release the ultimate punch. Using this technique to perfection, Kaku Kayo, even though physically far weaker, was able to go toe to toe with Yujiro and even backed him into a corner for a moment. So he's simply absorbing the power of his opponent's punch, add a little bit of his own strength into that punch strength and releasing it back to his opponent. So theoretically he could punch even harder than Yujiro if he absorbed Yujiro's punch first. So if Kaku fights any guy from that list and could be able to absorb a punch thrown at him, he could simply return that punch back with more power. To punch harder, you need physical power. And if you punch harder than someone, you should be physically stronger than him. So theoretically, Kaku Kayo, when absorbing the opponent's punches, adding his own power to it and releasing his punch back, could be one of the physically strongest characters in the series, if not the strongest. So Kaku Kayo is the one who is the physically strongest character in the series.
I guess now you know.
I do it for the meme, don't judge me. Thank you guys for watching. If this video was interesting to you, you can leave a like and subscribe for more stuff like this. Leave your comments down below who you think should be on this list. Maybe I forgot someone. Again, thank you for watching. See you soon.
Me and none of them not travel for any trip. In the seat of